Every city needs some sort of outside connection. That's, however, easier said than done. The cheapest and the most convenient connections are over land. But if you don't have the land, you need to turn to the sea. So, in this first episode of my Caribbean team build, we'll be focusing on the harbor. But before we start actually building, let's take a look at some real-life harbors for inspiration. I took inspiration mainly from this port on St. Lucia, but also from others like this one on Dominica and this one on Tobago. But let's get back to St. Lucia. Here you can see that the harbor has two parts. A big concrete slab on the land and a rather long pier, which is exactly what I'm gonna do in Monteverde. I started out by sketching the shape of the harbor with roads. I may have made it too big, but it was definitely worth it, because it turned out to look amazing in the end. I'll just need to transition the city into low density a little bit later than I had originally planned, to get a bit larger population to really justify a port of this size. Anyway, let's talk about the building process. After deepening the area of the port, I started building the quays out of horizontal pillars. Seriously, the best asset in the game. They come in various sizes, some decals can be placed on them, it's just shame that different sizes interact differently with them, they can be rotated, and they even have a weird hitbox, so you don't really notice they are terrain conforming. Just the perfect asset. I maybe should build some sort of shrine to celebrate the greatness of the horizontal pillar. Maybe someday. I can already see it. Somewhere deep in the jungle, an ominous structure of couple horizontal pillars, with seemingly no purpose, but with a deep spiritual meaning to those enlightened by the horizontal pillar. Anyway, I built this corrugated wall around the whole pier and covered the top with even more horizontal pillars. And I'm still not done with them, because then I built the quay of the main part of the port in exactly the same way, since the port will not be functional. The vanilla harbor would just look out of scale here, so I'm building mine just for looks and as a cover for the horribly unrealistic undersea tunnel, which will come out of the ground here. That way it will look like the cars are spawning here, and gameplay wise it would be as if everything was delivered by a ship. But this would finally be all for the horizontal pillars. Let's get to building the other things a port needs. I started with the road going through the port and followed by placing a ship there, to make it more alive. My building order is pretty random. I continued by placing some warehouses and then some booths at the entrances. Next, I placed some random industrial buildings. These could be some other warehouses, and they could also house some offices and border control, which the port also obviously needs. And the last buildings in the harbor will be a silo and some oil or fuel tanks. Those especially are important, because the majority of Caribbean electricity is generated by burning liquid fuels like oil or diesel. And now that all of the harbor buildings are placed, let's do a detailing montage adding some props, decals and surfaces to make everything look realistic. Finally, the harbor is almost finished. The last thing that's missing are those bollards used to tie down ships. And for those, I used this commercial air vent. It was super random find, but they were great as bollards. As the last addition to this harbor, I placed this awesome fishing boat prefab by Harbor Master J. While moving it, this window popped up, and the game completely froze. So that is a reminder to turn on autosave. Fortunately, I had it on and didn't lose anything. But with that, let's get to the second part of the video, where I built a small expansion to the city as promised in the previous one. Unfortunately, the freezing with the fishing boat was just the start of my bad luck, as in like an hour into building the city expansion, my PC blue screened. I didn't lose any progress, but what I lost was the recording, so now I have to jump pretty much straight to the detailing. But first, I'll show you what I built before the crash. Basically, I just finished the blocks up against the river that I left half empty last time and also filled in these two. The free space in this block is reserved for a park, and this odd-shaped block I'm leaving empty for a more interesting build that I'll do in the next episode. For now, let's focus on the park. It will be a bit similar to the main plaza I built in the first episode, but it will be a bit simpler and won't have a fountain. The one I'm placing here is only for measuring the paths. I unfortunately didn't build the park in one go, but gradually detailed it together with the whole expansion. Maybe next time I should think more about how I'll make the video when building, so I don't end up slicing the building process of something important, like this park, into many pieces spread around the whole episode. That said, I also made the park a bit more overgrown and overall less maintained. You'll see that in the detailing montage, where I've done all the traditional detailing steps. It's always the same, starting with surfaces, which I've done before the crash, then continuing with stain decals, trees, bushes, forgetting to recolor the roofs before placing more stain decals on them, power lines, street lights, simply, it's a lot. So let's do the montage. And that's it, everything is detailed. There are just two small things I want to do before the end of the video. First of which is doing a little detailing on this end of the port. When building the port, I didn't know what to do with this, but there's not really anything I can do here except reinforcing the shore with some rocks and placing some foliage, which I obviously forgot to record. The other thing is to add these new zoning blocks inside all of the static buildings. I've been waiting for this, especially for the services version. Now I can finally put all of the services into the city without breaking the theme. So massive thank you goes to StarQ for making this, and also the static floppy blocks. Everything is just so much easier with them. And that's it for this episode. As always, you can like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, or even write a comment with some suggestions or ideas for future ones. So stay tuned for the next one, where I'll be filling that odd-shaped block, but until then, take care and enjoy the cinematics. Bye bye.